Hello, I'm Robert, and you're welcome here in my busy little shop. On today's episode of What's on My Workbench, well, some of you know, probably saw it in the title, figured it out, but it is time to go. The temperatures get warm here in the summertime. I don't have an air-conditioned shop that I'm working in, and I'm headed to someplace cooler for the summer. So I need to get everything all loaded up and put in the trailer so I can go get it moved to my new location. So I think I've been doing a little bit of organizing, moving things around, trying to remember the things I forget. I've got a couple of extra places I stash things here in the toolbox and such, and I have gone off and left things behind that I really didn't intend to. So I've spent a little bit of time over the last 2 days just kind of digging through and organizing, and it looks less organized now than it typically does, but it's more organized. But I've got a little bit of cleanup to do here as well. So I thought I'd get some people, so don't criticize me too much. Like I said, I've been going through it here, but I'm going to give you a kind of a quick overview of the shop here. And then I've got to take apart my Cobra 26 and my MP4 Skiver. I can't move them as they are. And we'll get them boxed up. I have a crate. It's a simple crate, but I have a crate I've made for the sewing machine. But the MP4, I need to make a crate for that. But I've got a large plastic tub. I'm not going to try to pick it up in the plastic tub, but we're going to put it in the tub and slide it in the trailer. And I guess we'll see how it fits. I've been a little anxious of this day here over the wintertime because I've accumulated so many other things that it's getting to be, I guess, a bit of a challenge to visualize how it's all going to load up. So let me take the camera off the stand here and I'll give you a quick overview. Don't judge too much on how dirty it is. But I have these 3 shelving units that I keep hardware and smaller tubs of items that I've organized in. I've got the bench grinder on there, and then I keep my liquids in a cardboard box here. And I do that, it's got like 3 layers of cardboard in there on the bottom so that if I get, a little bit on the edges or whatever, it doesn't leak through and stain something. When I move it, I set it inside of a plastic tub. There's the sander burnisher. And I'll scoot over this way here a little bit there. There's the Cobra 26 sewing machine. I tell you what, it's a workhorse, and it does a great job for me. I'm glad I bought it. Even I use it a limited amount of time. There's the cut table that you saw me make. And I tell you what, it's a clutter table today. And I'm not great at keeping it 100% organized, but usually I keep things off the green cutting area there. And that's just 2 large cutting mats. And then I've got my leather strap storage, and the primary workstation seems to be this one, even though I use them both quite a bit. I've already packaged up my leather tooling tools in here, and like I said, I've been trying to organize a little bit there. This is where I set up and I dye the leather, and this is a lot of assembly happens here, and I've got my punches, various punches there as well. My toolbox, it does not come. Then the NP4 Skiver. I've already taken the screws out of the top of it, and it's going to go in that black tub over there. And I'm not going to waste the space that's in top of that. I have a lot of leather scrap, and I figured I'll just pile it in on top of the Skiver. The plastic totes are here, and the salt bags. What's that? That's what I use to anchor my pop-up tent when I'm at a show. I need to come up with something better, but I went to the big box store, and I didn't want to buy bags of salt or bags of sand. I ended up buying bags of salt because I'll use them in the water softener. And then pretty much everything here, other than obviously that light on top, that's all finished leather projects. The top left box is full of belts. There's like, I think I looked at the inventory yesterday, there's 74 belts in there. And just various other things. A lot of space. There's 3 of these boxes that are full of either totes or dop kits. And then in here, I've got a metal baker's rack, and this is my leather storage here. And I usually try to keep the ends covered on the veg stand, keep light off of it. There's less light in this room, but it's not devoid of light. And then I've got this box over here and that box down there of leather as well. So I do have quite a bit more leather than I typically have, but you know, it is what it is. The other thing, well, let me turn the camera around here. So one of the things I do like about moving every 6 months, and there's only a couple things, but one of the things I like about moving every 6 months is it helps me keep track of the passage of time. It's so easy to get caught up in our daily routine, and the next thing you know, it's anniversary again, or it's Christmas again, or another birthday rolled by, and it seems like the last one was just yesterday. But to me, it's like now I measure the year in 2 6-month segments according to where the shop is set up. And I think it helps keep me a little bit grounded. The other thing is I go through here, you pull out a piece of leather and you're like, oh yeah, I bought that because I was gonna make X out of it. And it ends up back on the schedule again. And will it happen in that time frame? Maybe, maybe not. But it helps keep me that way. And then I had a box over here with like 2 projects, maybe 3 that are already cut out that just need to be assembled. That you know, I was making maybe say 2 clutches, and I made one for the video, and then I'm like, I need to move on, and haven't got back to making the other one, so I need to get onto that as well. And speaking of that, I have a lot of people are like, you have a lot of projects that you make that, you know, how do you have that much going through? And there are a lot of projects that I made over the last 3 or 4 months that are in these tubs that will end up on a table. So I do get, you know, quite a few custom orders, but not as many as I have projects. But this summer, hopefully, I sell those. I've got 2 nice sheaths that are finished. There's actually 3 that are finished. One is my brother's, and it's in the center console, so I don't forget to take that with me when I go to see them. But the others are in here, and they'll show up on Artisan Show. And I've got 2 of them yet this month. And so it'll be fun to get in front of people and talk about those. One of them came up here just a couple of weeks ago, the opportunity, and it's a fun event, and I'll make sure to share some of that. I'll have a video here in a little bit of letting people know where I'm going to be, and I'll outline it there as well. So I figured if I keep talking, I don't have to deal with this, but I guess I kind of need to deal with this. So I want to try a couple different angles here, and we'll get this stuff loaded up. Lapse time hopefully is not more than about 2 hours, because it's almost 7 a.m. here and it's already hot. So let's get you set up in a spot out of the way so you don't get injured, and I'll get started. And I need to start by doing the 2 pieces of equipment, because those heavy items I put in front of the axle to get the weight right. And then leather goes in on top of the items in the front, so I'll probably put the totes in the front and then stack up the leather, and then the rest of the stuff here goes as well. I keep messing with the order in which I do it, and I, you know, as I say that, I might shift it a little bit. This trailer sits so low to the ground, it's hard to get it 100% level, and things tend to like work their way to the back of the trailer, and stuff, if it's stacked up high, wants to cascade down. So I may swap things around a little bit here on how I do that. Anyway, I appreciate you being here in the shop with me today. my upper space. So I think I need to go ahead and put the next row of totes in, and then I'll stack the leather on top of there. I wish I had more height at the back of the leather to keep it up there, but I can't think of another way to do this. I still got a lot of stuff to go in there yet. All right, more totes. I think I'm going to take a break and contemplate life's choices. And we'll be back here in just a little bit. Okay, that was good. Cool down a little bit, get a little bit of a break there. And I was trying early in the day, you know, because it was early morning. But the sun just shines in here, and I think it was hotter then. It's been about an hour and a half, got on to other things. Hotter then than it is now that the sun's overhead. And I know I get questions all the time about packaging up these tools. And I created this block to hold these tools a couple years ago, maybe longer. And I think I'm going to redesign it. You know, it worked well for what I was doing, but I've collected so many more tools since then that they don't really fit very well in here. And I don't think it utilizes space very well. So that's one of my projects this summer, is to create a better working system for my tools. And I've considered finding like a plastic tote and then measuring that and building the tool holders so that it fits properly in a tote without wasted space. So I might do that as well. And I just use these terry rags here, terry cloth towels, to kind of protect these tools a little bit. Put them here in a box and then in a tote from there. So the packing for the first part of it went well. I've got the front half of the trailer is full with the totes of completed projects, and the leather is the main thing. Well, and I guess the sewing machine and skiver are in there as well. I hope that everyone's doing well. I guess officially we're still in spring. Sure feels like summer to me here in May. Lots of noise outside today. Trying to figure what mixes well here. I'm missing a Ron's tool. 4, 3, and 2. There's number 1. And my French skiver. I'm not sure when this will hit the YouTube channel, but today is Monday, and it's the week that the Sheridan show is going on this coming weekend. So it would have been nice to make it there. I keep saying next year, but next year is probably more likely than it has been thus far. Time will tell, right? We'll know in a year from now if I went. it'll go. I've just got to figure out the best placement because it all wants to settle and shift and move around. I've got room here for one more tote. I have to build this up so I can slide it over on top of where the toolbox is. I don't know, I may pull this out, move this over, and move a couple things here and put the toolbox here. But either way, it's going to go in there, and I've got a couple boxes of scrap. I'm tempted just to leave them behind, but you know, as soon as you do, you're going to remember that piece that you got. It's just like throwing it out. But they'll go in here, and then believe it or not, we've actually got some patio plants that I have to leave space for up in here to get to Colorado, because they will not last the summer here when it gets hot. So I think I'm going to wrap up there. I really do appreciate you taking time to follow along in my journey in Leathercraft. I find it fun and interesting, and hopefully these oddball videos you don't find too boring. But I've still got probably a tote's worth of stuff, and then I've got several smaller little plastic boxes like you've seen me put in here. I've got some of thread, and then I've got all of my files. I need to get better organized that. They're just in folders, and I'll get those all boxed up and we'll put in here. So it will make it. And if you were wondering, the table stays here. That was my intent when I built it, was to leave it here. And I've got a set of sawhorses there and some plywood that's not as wide. So I'll probably use that. I don't see myself, well, you're careful about that, right? But I don't see myself building one of these there. But I tell you what, I've gotten a lot of use out of it, and I like using it a bunch. I don't like the clutter, though. We need to come up with a, you know how they have anti-stick pots and pans? We need to have anti-clutter tabletops. Oh, and the wood blocks that I put my tools in, I'm just throwing those in the back of the pickup truck. I'm not going to put them in the trailer. They'll be fine. Once again, I appreciate you taking time to be here. Please like, share, and subscribe. And more importantly, I'll see you in Colorado.